Hey all, Rick here from Hamilton Sports Central for another live stream. For this time it's Toronto Argos at the BC Lions. And before we get the game kicked off, we gotta just say one thing from our sponsor. This live stream is proudly sponsored by KPHR Radio, Hamilton's home for the classic rock. If you love legendary rock anthems, great on-air personalities, and community-focused programming, be sure to tune in to KPHR Radio. Listen live and discover all of their shows, music, and more by visiting katradiogroup.ca. Thank you to KPHR Radio for supporting the Hamilton Sports Central and bringing you today's live coverage. Bum, bum, bum. One of two things is going to happen today. Toronto is either going to smoke BC Lions because of Chase Bryce, or Toronto's going to be the laughing stock of the week and they're going to lose to their third straight backup. One of the two things is going to happen today. I can tell you that much. Doo-doo. Week 8 continues as BC Lions are back home at BC Place. Seventh last game of their road trip because then Toronto is on a bye next week and then they play their home opener. We have reached the halfway point of week 8 here in the CFL. Thanks for joining us on TSN. I'm Laura Dyken, joined alongside Enoch Wamba, Paul Police, and last but certainly not least, Steve Burton. All right, well, on Thursday night was the Elks coming with a dramatic win over the Riders yesterday. The Stampeders offense showing off, putting up 52 points on the Bombers, and that leads us to the story when it comes to the West Division standings and just how important this game is for the Lions here tonight. They are sitting at 1-4. So Edmonton's 6-1 for 12 points for first place. Sask is in second with the 4-2 record. Right now in second place. Winnipeg is third with a 4-3 record with 8 points. Calgary is fourth with a 3-4, and BC's fifth with a 1-4 record. So each team, this is a must-win for each team tonight. Bryce passing over-under is 260.5. He won't get that. But I mean, it's Toronto Argonauts. Like, I wouldn't put it past him. I think they got a chance to win this game if something changes defensively, like last in the CFL takeaways. So Chase Bryce, let's start with him. Three touchdowns, not bad. Not 4 interceptions. Get to that. Can't be one of the worst turnover margin teams and win when you have your starting quarterback. So they've got to find a way to take the ball away defensively. And they've gotten better defense the last couple of weeks. But can they get some takeaways, create some short fields for a young quarterback to give them some BC? So BC Lions is 24-17 with Nathan Rourke starting, 30.4 points per game and 20.3 points allowed. With him out, they're 5-6, 20.6 points per game and 21.8 points per game allowed. Work. Do. Dun. Do. Oh, I forgot to. I'm sure I put that out. Okay, I was going to say. Let's just get kickoff going. Let's go. Come on. With these stupid commercials. Rich says, a blue shirt on? Does that mean that you're rooting for the Argos? Listen, if it makes you feel better, I will do one better for you then. There, Rich, is that better for you? BC jersey, Argos hat. That better for you? Ugh, just feels so wrong. Feels so wrong in so many ways to wear that hat. Ugh. So I picked Toronto 3 times, and they've lost. I picked Sask when Toronto beat Sask, so I'm 0-4 picking games with Toronto in them. No, I was just explaining to you. So when I've actually picked Toronto, I'm 0-3. When I picked against a team against Toronto, I'm 0-4. So I picked Toronto to win tonight. So if they lose tonight, I'm 0-5, 0-4, just picking Toronto in games. Rod Smith and Dwayne Ford. Mike Miller is 2-1 in his first season as a head coach, 7th straight road game. Buck Pierce is 6-3 in BC last season, and he's won 6 home games in 2025. But they're not doing well today. Lions have won the toss, so they're going to take the ball first. So Lister, Toronto's new kicker for tonight. Brady out of the University of Windsor. So we got Lidster kicking off for 67 yards to the BC 13. Williams returns for 15 yards to the BC 28. Goche with the tackle. So it's 1st and 10 for BC at the BC 28. See, Rich, I prefer, if I was an Argo fan, I'd prefer these jerseys over their baby blues. Butler rushes for 3 yards to the BC 31. Toa with the tackle. 2nd and 7. Bryce throws incomplete to Hatcher at the BC 36, so it's 3rd and 7. So the punter is going to be coming on. And here she goes. I just like the way that the all white looks. Benji Franklin almost had an interception. Could have, would have, should have. No. Oh. Very last second. Mayer punts off for 60 yards to the Toronto 19. Grant returns for 32 yards to the Toronto 51. Tackled by the punter. See what Chad Kelly can do. 69.3% completion, 2,126 yards, 15 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and they are 2-4. Isaiah Smith rushes for 6 yards for the BC 53. Okay, so it's not Isaiah Smith, it's Kevin Matala. CFL get it right. Chad Kelly throws DeMonte Coxey for 21 yards to the BC 31. Kent Jr. with the tackle. It's going to be a 1st down, Toronto. As Coxey takes out a cameraman's camera. And then Chad Kelly goes back to Coxey for 14 yards. To the BC 18. Finley with the tackle. Procedure on Brendan Camp for 5 yards. So they go from the 18 to 23. So it's going to be 1st and 15. At least it's not a bloody hold after last night. Mike Benavides, defensive coordinator.
Second and long ahead. And the Toronto Argonauts with a rather prolific receiving.
Kelly passes to Coxey for 4 yards to the BC 19. Thomas Oliver III with the tackle. And then Kelly throws to Malik Polk for 19 yards to the BC end zone for a touchdown. Argos. Gotta play their little graphic that we have.
Another one who's been prominent in that Argo receiving core is Mackay, and he has himself another touchdown catch this year, number 5 to tie it to league lead. Just a beautiful route right here by Mackay. Little step to the inside, to the outside, and then ducks it back in. Keep an eye, stab out, get the defender to bite, tucks back right in behind him. Perfect timing from Kelly. Kicking was an issue with Jeremiah Lau last week in Hamilton, and he is not in this game. It's Brady Lidster, his first CFL game from Windsor, the top kicker in U Sports last year, and he puts in that.
You can bet if Lidster does well tonight, I think they will release Larham. That's just my honest opinion. It's not pregame TSN's first quarter. Rich is all pumped. That is, Argos are leading 7-0. So, Rich, I'm going to ask you this question. With the current roster, including Herschelo, so we got to put Herschelo in there, who's Kelly's main number one receiver? I mean, you could say he's already gone to Paul or Coxie 3 times. But like every quarterback has that one receiver. I forget who Arbuckle had someone else last year. As we wait for the commercial to be over. Here we go for a kickoff. Doug Oliver has won a prize through kickoff Safeway to win with a touchdown. So for those that don't know, Safeway is a grocery store at West that if you shop there, I'm going to say from Winnipeg out west to BC, you get entered in for a draw. And for every touchdown, you get a prize if your name gets listed. One kickoff, you win groceries for a year for life, or win groceries for a year. If 2 kickoffs happen, then you get $1 million. One person's only done it in the year that they've had this contest. Lidster kicks off for 59 yards to the BC 21. Williams returns it for 15 yards to the BC 36. Kassar with the tackle. Oh, there's Rourke with his clipboard. Butler rushes for 6 yards to the BC 42. Darius Pickett with the tackle. Up against this Toronto Argonaut defense. Yeah, Toronto Argonaut defense dealing with some injuries and your Chatfield. No. I'm just saying, out of all of the wide receivers, Bryce throws to Butler incomplete, so it's 3rd and 4. No, I'm saying out of all the receivers, Rich, including Herschel, because Herschel isn't playing right now, so including Herschel into the receiver group, who would Chad Kelly's top receiver be? And you said Coxie. Now they're 2 and out. See, I told you it's either going to be one of two ways. Either Toronto's going to come swinging, or BC's defense is going to finally show up and they're going to come out of BC defense actually going to show up and Kelly's going to do bad. So Donovan, who replaced released Dejan Allen, is the injured line on the field. I bet they're regretting releasing him.
We'll take a break early here at BC Place with the Argos leading the Lions 7-0.
Rich says Kelly has to stop throwing interceptions. I mean, BC's defense is trash, so he should have no problem throwing interceptions tonight. Now, it's still possible he may throw one or two, but we shall soon find out. Boom, 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 boom.
An injury delay here at BC Place. The card is coming on the field for the right tackle, Joshua Donovan, making his first start for the Lions at right tackle. He had been a member of the Montreal Alouettes, got a Grey Cup ring there, made several starts in Montreal before moving over to BC. But as said, just the juggling this week with the release of Dejan Allen. It was his job at right tackle, and this is what happened, Wayne. Yeah, he gets locked up for Sean Levin here, and I think he may have...
Yeah, but look at the... No, that's true.
Former teammate of Josh Donovan in Montreal, heading out onto the field just to give his best wishes. So the big man standing up, 6'6", Josh Donovan, and words there from Levin. Yes, teammates of the Alouettes, as you point out. Levin, of course, played for the BC Lions as well in his career, but distraught for his old teammate Donovan, as said, just getting his first start. Yeah, Josh Donovan, primarily a practice roster guy with Montreal in 23 when they won that Grey Cup, a starter in 24, injured a lot last season, actually eventually was released, joined the Toronto Argonauts last September on their practice roster. Looked like he would be a starter for the Toronto Argonauts. Early in camp this year, he was working with the first unit, then released a few days into camp, which was a bit of a surprise at the time, and picked up by the BC Lions, making his first start here, and unfortunately having that come to an all-too-fast ending. Getting a lot of hugs and pats in the back and encouragement from his teammates. He saw Buck Pierce out there, but you could just tell by his reaction, sensing how bad this could be. Hopefully not for Josh Donovan, but we need to go out on a card.
Well, Rod Smith, when someone's getting carted out and they can barely put any weight on their leg, it's bad.
Hopefully we're not dealing with a Hamilton situation a week ago when the Ticats lost both of their tackles. They've lost one now. They have pressed 6 offensive linemen. So Anu Una, number 61, will go in as well. And hopefully it doesn't happen, if they need another offensive lineman, it would be Nathan Cherry, a defensive lineman with the Lions. It's said, I bring this up because of what we saw last week with the Ticats and the precarious situation, by the way, against the Argos in that game.
Samara punts 60 yards to the Toronto 8. Grant returns it for 20 yards to the Toronto 28. Chad Kelly's at 354.3 passing yards, second in the league per game, behind Davis Alexander at 363.5 and Trevor Harris third with 335.8. Kelly throws to David Unger the third for 16 yards to the Toronto 44. Williams with the tackle. Kelly almost threw an interception. Knocked incomplete. 2nd and 10. Chad Kelly throws incomplete, so it's going to be 3rd and 10 at the Toronto 44. Rod Smith says typical Chad Kelly. Burnett punts 55 yards to the BC 11. Williams returns for 7 yards to the BC 18. D. Johnson with the tackle. Oh my god, these same commercials, it's the same thing over and over again, just music and random photos.
Price, the Lions offense, back on the field, and he played in Clemson and then finished his collegiate career at Appalachian State. Look at that.
So Chase Bryce at Appalachian State went 16 for 10, 62.4% completion, 6,258 yards.
Which is the chance to come and play in the CFL as opposed to looking at maybe some of the other American leagues. Kind of like the history and stability of the CFL. James Butler, another carry, his third. The safety coming in to tackle him until he gets up to the 26. Good pickup on first down for Butler.
Butler rushes for 9 yards to the BC 27. Bolden with the tackle. I'm curious to see how Hendricks is going to do when he's back in the lineup, and also Sean Lemon. Horvath rushes for 2 yards to the BC 29. Peckett with the tackle, so it's going to be first down Lions.
Interceptions, he might have back a couple he couldn't do much about, but finishing with 4 picks in that ball game, but still a chance to win the game in the fourth quarter. Pressure coming from Darius Pickett. But he gets it away, and Price does complete it to Kieran Poisson. Not an easy pass today.
Price throws to Poisson for 14 yards to the BC 43. Bolden with the tackle, so it's going to be first down BC. And then Bryce throws incomplete. So it's behind. Throws at his feet. Why would you throw at someone's feet? Bryce throws incomplete to Senecal at his feet. So it's going to be second and 10.
Just as he goes to release that ball, ends up impacting the throw. Nice dug around on the rush there by Jonathan Combo, dipping that inside shoulder to get underneath the punch of the offensive tackle. So second and 10. And the ball over their 43 now, trailing by 7. Bryce wants to take off, picks up a few yards, gets it up to the 40.
Bryce rushes for 4 yards to the BC 47-yard line. Hawley with the tackle. 3rd and 6, and it's going to be a punt coming up.
Yeah, Bryce still in the early going, getting a little bit of a feel for what Toronto's defense is showing. We saw Combo with the hit on the quarterback on the previous play. At the time, he was essentially dropping in coverage as a linebacker. So again, some different looks being shown to Chase Bryce here in his first start. Meyer with another punt. Jerry Grant lets it bounce, and it rolls, and it goes out of bounds.
Mayer punts 52 yards to the Toronto 11, out of bounds at the Toronto 11. 4:32 left in the first quarter. 7-0 for the Argos.
longer because he continues to make very strong progress in his recovery. On Wednesday last week, he began throwing. He's increased his range and distance as things have gone. He feels much better about the strength and position that his shoulder is in. So he keeps trying to push it, and now they've got to make a decision on what happens next. I think there's a real high probability that he plays in a couple of weeks against Hamilton, but depending on what happens today, I think he can make a real push to play in the game next week on Thursday in Winnipeg. A short week, obviously, impacts that. However, he didn't tell me if this was a playoff game, he would find a way.
Yeah, if only it was a playoff game, he would find a way in there. Kelly passes to Common for 6 yards to Toronto 17.
First year in the CFL, and he's had an explosion jumping into the scene here in this league with 5 touchdown catches. Nathan Ward injury brought down hard in that July 17th game against the Edmonton Elks. He did not return, as we mentioned. Chase Bryce going the rest of the way in that ball game. Over 3 quarters of action. 5-yard gain, Kelly to Common. It's a 2nd and 5 now. With Hicks in the backfield, staying to protect.
Oh, and Kelly was sacked.
Runs out of room. A flag is out.
But there's a flag on the play. So Matthew Betts with a sack by Toronto was offside, so penalties declined. So 3rd and 12. I'm curious to see who is offside, though. That would be nice, unless it's the whole offensive line. Oh, never mind. That was something else. Burnett punts to 46 yards to Toronto 55. Williams returns it for 12 yards to Toronto 43. Adarius Pickett with the tackle. 3:22 left in the first quarter. And here comes Bryce onto the field. Only 43 yards to go. Is he going to hit a touchdown? Nobody knows. Butler rushes for 38 yards. Shand with the tackle, and Adarius Pickett is the injured Argo on the field. Could be an ankle injury, as his leg gave out. Shoulder injury. They're looking at his shoulder. Second and 5 for BC at the Toronto 38. Braves passes to Hatcher for 6 yards to the Toronto 32. First down, Lions. Do. Do 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 do. James Butler rushes for 2 yards to the Toronto 30. Goss with the tackles, so 2nd and 8. And just under 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Schlywicka is in Sam linebacker for now because Adarius Pickett has to come out for 3 plays because the training staff went out on the field. Offside on Toronto. Oh, it's Sluka. For some reason, I keep on saying Slywicka. Sluka. Bryce throws to Jackson for 8 yards to the Toronto 22-yard line. Amos with the tackle. Butler rushes for 9 yards to the Toronto 13, 2nd and 1. Benji Franklin with the tackle. Butler's at what right now? Butler's already at 34 yards. Horvath rushes for 1 yard to Toronto 12. Bolden with the tackles, and it's a first down, Lions. Last play of the first quarter. Butler rushes for 2 yards to the Toronto 10. Sluka with the tackle. So it's going to be 2nd and 8 at the 10 to start the second quarter. Do, do, do. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do.
Argos very quickly jumped out to that 7-0 lead. Lions defense settling down. When you look at the rushing yards for BC, Dwayne, compared to how little they got last week against the Edmonton Elks. Yeah, and this obviously this has to do with the situation as well as who's starting for Chase Price making his first regular season CFL start here for the BC Lions in 2026. You want to put him in the best possible position to be successful, allow him to feel comfortable, get into a little bit of a groove out of the gate. And I think as we saw that first quarter winding down, Chase Price certainly seemed to be settling in. James Butler playing a significant role in that. And also of significance, an injury to the Lions offensive line. Joshua Donovan, his first start at right tackle. So you see on the left of your screen, Chris Slugger, 57, has taken over at right tackle.
BC's 15 for 23 in 2026 in the red zone. Bryce throws incomplete to McInnes. So the special team's going to come on to kick a field goal. Sean White kicks a 17-yard field goal to make it 7-3.
Argos lead. Cut into by 4. The CFL on TSN is brought to you in part by ScoreBet, an official gaming partner of the CFL. Ron Smith, Wayne Ford, Farhan Lalji here at BC Place, and Mike Miller in the Argos said if there's a team that can commiserate with the Lions for starting their season with a long road.
So Toronto starts on their 40-yard line. Thrown incomplete. And there's a flag on the play.
That looked to be Matthew Betts. Getting a good jump on his pass rush that impacted the trajectory of this football. You see, again, good get off, rip through, hit the piece of the right arm of Chad Kelly on his follow through as you saw that ball. Taking a little bit of an awkward flight. Yeah, definitely took a lot off the Kelly pass and still poked nearly a chance to bring it down.
There's no flag on the play. Come on.
Yeah, the flag, they're still discussing it. Kelly wants to join the discussion by the looks of things. Sorted out. The fact that he's smiling makes you think it might be going against BC. We'll see. Ronald Kent Jr. trying to get his ear close enough to find out what's going on as well. They're taking a while to sort this one out.
This has to be multiple penalties if it's taking this long to sort out.
Coordinator for BC. It is against the Lions. BC, number 42. 10-yard penalty. First. Parker McKenna. This is Will linebacker. Keep an eye on the sidelines. There's McKenna sneaking onto the field just as the play starts.
Oh, so it's too many men. Okay, so it's a 10-yard penalty. So they're at the Toronto 50. Kelly throws to Unger for 8 yards to the BC 52.
By Ronald Kent. A gain of 8 for the Argos. Chad Kelly opened this game just on fire, completing 4 consecutive passes in front of the twitch. There's a touchdown strike. Argos unable to get much
Kelly passes to Mattel for 6 yards to the BC 46. Finley with the tackle.
Who had been their leading receiver, as mentioned in a bunch, all close together statistically, along with Coxing and Polk. And Unger and Common not too far behind. Mittal with a catch to get it down. They're quickly over the ball. This is up to the BC 46 now. And a first and 10.
Kelly throws to Polk for 16 yards to the BC 30. Sankey with the tackle.
First down for the Argos. There it is. That attack. The top three especially all projected to go over 1,000 this season. Mittal and Coxey and Polk. And what a season they're having so far.
Mattel rushes for 0 yards to the BC 30, so 2nd and 10 at the BC 30-yard line. Williams with the tackle.
Swings it out to Mittal. Tackled there by Deontay Williams, right at the 30. Chad Kelly directing traffic a little bit there for Kyle Holt, stretching out, takes a little bit of a shot at the end of that one. Recognizes that comes with the territory going into the danger zones. A little bit to make a big play for your team. Ball just inside the 30, so the game just maybe a couple of inches on that last pass to McConnell. There we go, second down.
Kelly passes Mattel for 5 yards to the BC 25. So the field goal unit's going to come on the field.
A little bit of movement there for the Toronto Argonauts, but we have a rookie, Brady Lidster, already with his first career.
And time count violation. So they move back 5 yards. So they go from 25 to 30 plus an extra 7. So that's a 37-yard field goal.
Push it back a little bit longer. Mickey Donovan, the special teams coordinator.
Lidster kicks a 37-yard field goal to make it 10-3.
First CFL field goal try for Brady Lidster, and he puts it through, and the Argos with that restore their 7-point lead. They want to hang on to that ball. The rookie gets 3 for the Argos.
Do, 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 I gotta change it to 10 instead of 3.
And now it's time for the stat of the game.
How's it the stat of the game? The game just started.
And the stat is all the flying Argo Era's been doing, starting their season on the road. Week 2, well, it just keeps adding up. All of these kilometers, of course, they could not use BMO Field because of the World Cup, so they've been away from home for a long time, but racking up those air miles are the Argos. Now, they did take the bus to Hamilton. There's the one exception. With this, their final road game before they finally get to go home. 10-3 all game.
No.
And the ball comes out after he lands in Benji Franklin.
Are they saying that he was down by contact?
And the biggest passing play for Chase Price in this game. And the officials discussed because Horvath caught it. He went down and the ball came out. 32 yards. They ruling the receiver was down. Franklin
Down by contact. Come on.
against the Ticats.
Down by contact.
And is still discussing the ruling here. That the units do not change.
The ruling on the field is the BC receiver was down by contact at the 38-yard line. So be first down BC.
Bryce throws to Horvath for 32 yards down to the BC 38. Benji Franklin with the tackle. And then Bryce throws to Hatcher for 4 yards to the BC 34. Again, Benji Franklin is getting beat almost every game.
Biggest offensive play for BC in this one. Back to Butler. No, a little fake. And then dumped off to Keon Hatcher inside the 30.
So it's 2nd and 6 from the Toronto 34.
Butler a lot. Setting him up with a fake. Throwing it off to Hatcher. It's second down now after that 4-yard pickup.
Yeah. This is the extension of that run game that we talked about in the first quarter. How this helps you as a quarterback. It helps your offensive line in terms of protecting the quarterback. You force that deep
Rebuilt face. Oh.
buys you a little bit more time, makes it easier.
Rebuilt face. I appreciate the sub and the like. Very much appreciated.
Here's Price now with a second down and 6. Gets it away.
Ooh. With a Bryce throws to Jackson for 12 yards for a first down. Bolden with the tackle at the Toronto 22. I mean, I'll put it this way. Toronto should win, but if they don't, that's pretty bad. Because in the last 2 weeks, they've lost to Winnipeg's backup and they've lost to Hamilton's backup. Horvath rushes for 0 yards at the Toronto 22-yard line. Darius Pickett with the tackle, so it's 2nd and 10 at the 22.
That's Xander Horvath, the ball carrier. He had the catch ruled down by contact a couple of plays ago. He's got another running play and a short gain, if any gain at all, there for BC. No gain. There was second and long play. It's a move from that two-back set into the traditional 5-receiver.
If I had to guess, Toronto's going to win more than just 5.5.
Second season as head coach after many
Bryce throws incomplete to Passant, so it's going to be another field goal from the Toronto 29-yard line. Well, it's going to be a 29-yard field goal attempt. Passant was wide open. Had he just ran a little bit more, that would have been a touchdown. No one was on him.
Obviously, you hate to see the opportunity missed when you're Buck Pearson, the BC Lions coaching staff. For a positive note, where you've got Chase Price coming off the 4-interception game. Glad to see him making the right receiving.
White with a 30-yard field goal.
Where to go with the football.
Pulls within 4. So I guess that helps you so far because you need lines within 5.5. So now with Sean White kicking that field goal, Toronto's going to start at their 40-yard line. What are we at so far? Chad Kelly's 10 for 12, 115 yards. Only 6 rushing, and neither Smith or Hicks have a rush. Toronto has no run game, so they're just throwing it this game. Rich says Toronto needs a long drive here with a touchdown.
One of the great Argos of all time, most outstanding player in 2012, Chad Owens, who is standing by now with Marlon.
Chad Owens.
This guy is still competing. Just look at you. Tell us about the bodybuilding competition here in Vancouver. Vancouver Pro Show tomorrow at the River Rock Casino, man. Yeah, I have to be pro bodybuilding now, men's physique, and I'm excited to be back on Canadian soil. Yeah, you still watch the league pretty closely, don't you? Of course, man. I love it. I mean, they gave me an opportunity. I love the Canadian Football League. And when I looked at this competition, I said, there's no way. I looked at the schedule. Argos coming to town for the lines. It was meant to be, so I had to be here tonight. You know what else? You had to bring Hawaiian chocolate. I'm going to get some right now, guys. Look. Appreciate it, guys. Aloha.
You can have the chocolate, Farhan, and Wayne and I'd like some. I don't think Chad's having any. Looks to he's in the show. What a great player he was, too. They set up a screen now.
Chad Kelly passes to Hicks for 3 yards to the Toronto 43, 2nd and 7.
He picks up a couple of yards now with the Argos having a 4-point lead over BC.
Chad Owens. What did it do, man? Win. He had a pretty good run with the Canadian Football League, most particularly with the Toronto Argonauts.
See, he was throwing those touchdown passes, too. First, it was Trevor Harris.
Yeah.
And then Ricky Ray, of course. And the Raiders, he wasn't an Argo for long, but boy, his candle burned bright. As mentioned, 2012, the year they won the Grey Cup over Calgary.
There's a flag.
And he happened to be the most outstanding player.
Offside BC. So it's 2nd and 2.
It's Colby Taylor, defensive.
Offside, BC, number 49. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
Called for the offside. And second down, but much shorter.
Chad Kelly throws to Kevin Mattal for 6 yards to the Toronto 54. Williams with the tackle. It's going to be a first down, Toronto.
Rookie excitement, perhaps. Up to the 47 now, and a 2nd and 3. Kelly underneath, but enough. That's Kevin Mattal. Fond memories in this stadium as a rookie who scored a touchdown in the Grey Cup 2 years ago in their victory over Winnipeg.
Kelly passes to Mattal again for 12 yards to the BC 44. TJ Lee with the tackle. Another first down, Toronto.
First down, Kelly soft toss, and back to Mattal. The coverage was there, so close. Looked like Jackson Finley was right with him, but he hung on to the ball, and the sticks move again.
Yeah, and I kind of expected that as Kelly takes this ball around to the left, that he's going to look to Mackay Polk coming across the formation in the flat. He sees defenders starting to flow towards Polk, adjusts his throwing motion to go inside.
They go tempo again. Deep wide open touchdown. Mackay Polk. And Kelly with a deep ball strikes again. 44 yards. Another deep shot by number 12. The Argos increase their lead.
Kelly throws to Mackay Polk, for 44 yards for another Argos touchdown. Rich says, nice touchdown. Well, you wanted a touchdown, you got a touchdown.
So 7 more on the board for the Argos, who now increase their lead over the Lions, 17-6. Celebrating their final road game before they head home.
Chad Kelly's already at 180 yards already, with 5:55 left to go in the second quarter. Polk's already at 79 yards. Seems like Toronto doesn't want to run the ball at all this game.
Celebrating again. He leads the CFL in touchdown catches, and there with Kevin Talbot-Focus 2 touchdowns now in the game.
Yeah, keep an eye on Polk, number 2 receiver towards the top of your screen here. TJ lead a halfback on that side. You're just going to see with this little step to the slant. He's going to get lead and turn his hips, ducks back outside.
Lister kicks off for 70 yards to the BC 10. Williams returns it for 26 yards to the BC 36. Johnson with the tackle.
Touchdown standings now came in 1 behind, and Sam Ellis had quite a week as well. But Tyler Common had been alone at 5, but now lots of company.
Absolutely. Kai Polk, you think back, 2024 season took him a little while to get going down the stretch. Let me say that again. Season, hottest receiver in the Canadian Football League.
Butler rushes for 3 yards to the BC 39. McFadden with the tackle, so it's 2nd and 7.
Persistent in terms of their use of James Butler, Xander Horvath, and that running game as part of the formula to put Chase Bryce in the best possible position to be successful here in his first start.
Well, he opened it up. Chase Bryce did a little bit more in that last possession, 6 for 11, 76 yards, had a longer completion to Horvath. They're down, though, 17-6 over the middle, and that is complete.
Bryce passed to Jackson for 8 yards to the BC 47. Bolden with the tackle. It's going to be a first down, Lions. 4:41 left and counting for the BC Lions in the second quarter.
Lots of noise on that hit. I have a feeling a lot of that was friendly fire, though. I actually think Jackson managed to get out of the way. Two Argo defenders clashed.
It's up to the BC 47 now. 4:19 and counting until halftime. Quickly to the left. And that one is caught by Butler.
Bryce throws to Butler for 5 yards to the BC 52. Goss with the tackle, so it's 2nd and 5.
About 5 more yards for BC.
Chipping away a little bit, trying to work that underneath game. See if they can try to create another opportunity for an explosive type play as they did when hitting Xander Horvath last series.
spending a year away with the Ticats. There's Bowman helping out as well.
Bryce throws incomplete to Hatcher, so it's going to be 2nd and 5 at the BC 52.
Working out of the slot here. Outside release working towards that corner. Pretty good recovery there by Amos to get a hand on it. But Bowman going airborne as he was scrambling over there in support.
Good athletic move by Bowman. Signage. Carl Meyer to punt it away.
Meyer to punt it away for 51 yards to the Toronto 7. Grant returns it for 0 yards to the Toronto 7, out of bounds.
By the South African Carl Meyer at 51 yards. And no options there for Janarian Grant back in the Argo lineup this week. 3-minute warning is given.
3-minute warning in the second quarter.
Look out for that son.
Bum, 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 bum. Do, 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 do. Mm, 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 mm. Who did I take for Thursday's game? So I just had a brain fart. Ugh. Chad Kelly throws incomplete, short to the David Unger III at the Toronto 26. 2nd and 10.
Standing by. Here's Chad Kelly going to work again. The Argos with an 11-point lead intended there for Unger. Falls incomplete.
A big opportunity here for the BC Lions to try and close the gap before halftime. Terrific punt by Carl Meyer to pin Janarian Grant, the Argos deep in their own territory.
Oh, I know what I was going to do.
Second and long again. A 2-and-out. An opportunity to get the ball back in pretty good field position, maybe get points on the board before they go to the break.
And out of the break, the Argos will get the ball. Start the second half. 2nd and 10 at Toronto 7. They're deep in their zone. Kelly trying to get them out of it, and that'll help.
Kelly throws a coaxie for 17 yards to the Toronto 24. It's going to be a first down, Argos.
They have traveled to start this season. They're their first 6 games, and this has been the result life on the road. They had that close loss in Montreal, a couple of wins, including one at Mosaic, and then gave up a lot of points against Calgary and Winnipeg. They lost, so 3 losses in a row, and that one in Hamilton, the biggest heartbreaker on a missed field goal try in the final play that would have won it for Mike Miller and the Argos. So trying to get back in the win column and head home at 3 and 4, and they're leading right now. And that's Isaiah Smith, a rookie out of Guelph, with a good carry there, 11 yards for Smith. And that's enough for the first down. 2:36 until halftime.
Isaiah Smith, the 11th overall pick in the 2026.
Isaiah Smith rushes for 11 yards to the Toronto 35. They finally get a rushing game started. They only had 2 rushes before that this whole game. Kelly is concussed.
Darnell Sankey was involved. You saw Parker McKenna, 42, coming in as well for BC. Things heated there as the Argos are just hoping their quarterback is okay. Kelly gives himself up on the slide. You know, I'm curious to see the replay on this. As I felt that watching this live, that you're going to call the late hit because of the timing, but it actually seemed as if the biggest impact is between Sankey and McKenna coming from opposite directions. But Sankey does catch Kelly in the helmet. I think that's where the injury to Kelly comes from, is Sankey's sort of upper arm, elbow.
So they go after McKenna. McKenna wasn't even the one that hit Kelly. It was Sankey.
That seems looks more neck than it does actual head as he's trying to stretch it out and he gets an escort off the field. So Nick Arbuckle, the MVP on this very field of the Grey Cup in 2024, when he filled in for Chad Kelly late that season after a Kelly broken leg, and Arbuckle ended up.
McKenna hit his own player.
Last year, Kelly didn't play at all in 25 because of that 2024 injury. Yeah, solid season for Nick Arbuckle in 2025, filling in for Kelly, veteran backup. I like the way things have gone around the CFL this season. Every team would love to have a Nick Arbuckle. Yeah, the way we were at the game in Montreal when Kelly suffered that brutal leg injury against the Alouettes. Arbuckle came on and helped them secure that victory and moving on to the Grey Cup. And the unlikely starter, it was such an unlikely story, and he went on and played a very good game, and he ended up being named the most valuable player of that Grey Cup when they beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers right here at this very stadium. I remember talking to him about that last year when they were coming here, and he's just not that sentimental a guy, but I'd always assumed that this place would have some meaning.
Fouls in the previous play. Roughing the passer, BC number 53. We've offsetting Mueller misconduct fouls on Toronto number 52 and BC number 21. It'll be an automatic first down for Toronto.
All right, as announced by Justin McKenna, sorting that out. The big one that makes the difference.
So Kelly rushes for 5 yards. McKenna with the tackle, roughing the passer on Sankey. Unnecessary roughness on Kent Jr. 21. And on number 52, Nick Castro. 45 yards from the Toronto 40 to the BC 55. Arbuckle throws to Unger the third for 3 yards to the BC 52. Arbuckle sacked for 6 yards to Toronto 52. Pause this for a second.
He has taken his helmet off. Darnell Sankey was involved. You saw Parker McKenna, 42, coming in as well for BC. And things heated there as the Argos are just hoping their quarterback is okay.
Kelly gives himself up on the slide. You know, I'm curious to see the replay on this. As I felt that watching this live, that you're going to call the late hit because of the time, but it actually seemed as if the biggest impact is.
Burnett punts 51 yards to BC 7. Williams returns for 6 yards to BC's 13. Goss with the injured Argo on the field.
Sort of upper arm, elbow. The versatility earlier of Sluka, and he's a guy you can plug in at multiple spots. Back there, a starter last year at safety. Mentioned we've already seen him in at the Sam or nickel spot. This ball game likely coming in at will now for Owen Goss.
You saw a great quick before the defensive coordinator. There's Greg on the right there with Isaac Arcangelo. A long-time coach in college in the United States and a good friend of Jim Barker's. He came to the CFL with the Argos in 2010 and coached with a variety of teams, including Saskatchewan and Montreal, winning a Grey Cup in 2023 and then returning. This is his third go-around with the Argos and now as defensive coordinator. But as you point out, he's had to do some juggling here.
Well, he has, and you mentioned as well, Benji Franklin dealing with an injury, so that leads to Tavares McFadden moves from the field corner position over to the boundary side, and the rookie Louis-Philippe Gauthier from Montreal Canadien, third round pick in this year's draft. He's going to move in at field corner. We've seen him play.
Goss with his arm that looks injured. Butler rushes for 2 yards to the BC 15. So 2nd and 8 from the BC 15. And Bryce is sacked for 3 yards to the BC 12. Shand with the sack. BC Lions have 2 sacks to the 1 on BC, or 1 for Toronto. So it's going to be 3rd and 11. BC is going to come on to punt the ball with 34 seconds left. Mayer punts 62 yards to the Toronto 36. Grant returns for 35 yards to the BC 39. Let's see what we can find on social media. Arbuckle throws to Coxie for 11 yards to the BC 28. So no update yet. Arbuckle pass to Isaiah Smith to the BC 14. Kent Jr. with the tackle.
And a screen to Isaiah Smith. Off to the left. To the 20. Cuts it back inside.
Man, BC Lions tackles are atrocious.
13 seconds until halftime.
Yeah, I think Smith was initially thinking he'd like to try and get the first down, maybe get out of bounds here. But he gets held up, turned back inside. Just fights to get what he can.
Second time to the red zone. Arbuckle. To the left in his stride, turning it up. Under, down near. He gets to about the 2, and the push stop there, and time is up. We got zeros in the clock here on that play.
That's half.
They had only 13 seconds left, and instead of going out of bounds, and Mike Miller still hoping that he gets a tick to get a field goal try, but they're heading to the dressing room. Unger caught it and turned it up, and the final seconds of the half ticked away, and a missed opportunity for 3 more points for the Argos.
And a rather massive bullet dodge there by the BC Lions defense to keep the Argos out of the end zone. Argos feel like with about 8 seconds on the clock when that play started, take the opportunity to try and take one more shot at the end zone, run one more play. Mike Miller, you can see him frantically trying to call timeout there, but it had already ticked down to 0.
So good stop to prevent the touchdown by the Lions defense, and also they kill off the remaining seconds, and Unger wishing he'd just gone out of bounds so you have a chance at 3. Let's go down to Farhan now with Mackay Polk.
Mackay, your offense has done so many good things in this first half, but take me through what happened there late.
I guess we just ran out of time. Coach did call a timeout, so I thought
So let's see.
we're just gonna come back after half and keep doing what we're doing.
2 touchdowns for your team.
Goss is gone for the game with his injury.
And 4 of them have at least 3 catches.
Yeah, we came out.
Donovan's gone for the game with his injury.
And, we just
Don't know what Kelly's update is yet.
Well, pretty good performance by Chad Kelly, by Nick Arbuckle, and the rest of the Toronto offense. They lead by 11.
I think those are the only.
Yes, but what could have been as the Argos leaving points out there on the field, and a lot happened after we saw Enoch juggling those lemons after the 3-minute warning. Let's start with how that half ended, and yeah, you heard Mackay Polk, we just ran out of time.
can't do that. I mean, there's a situation, you always talk situational football, and you go in, and you're driving the length of the field at the end of the game. You got Nick Arbuckle, they got to be saying, we used to say the term Seiko, and that means time is more, it's like a watch. Time is more important than yardage. Right here, you got to get out of bounds, you got to get down soon, immediately. You can't let this clock go to zeros while you're still fighting for yardage. You got what you can, get down, and then don't give yourself one more opportunity to make a kick. Mike Miller's here, but I think the clock's expired because Unger was still going at the end of the play.
Is that on the head coach or and a rhetorical question? I think it's on Unger. I think you call the play where you can try to score, and Unger has to realize that I'm 5'7", 170. I'm not running over these guys. Let me catch this ball. I don't see anything. Let me get down now. He's been in the league long enough, 7 years. He has to understand the game and what's going on, and giving his team an opportunity to score. Because now you never know what's going to happen with this game. If they lose this game by 3 points, they're going to come back and they're going to talk about
It's
that.
everybody.
Yeah,
They should have been in the
I don't
huddle.
want to say that.
Yeah, they should have been in the huddle saying, Seiko.
It's on everybody, head coach, quarterback. Hey guys, we have this amount of time left. You get the ball and you get out of bounds. You go down right away. We want to get another play. This game is not out of reach just yet. You got to get the points if you can this close to the end.
Just to reiterate the situation, how much time is left to make sure everyone's on the same page. But yeah, the Argos, at least a field goal they could have at least tried to get there. And we saw Nick Arbuckle in the game. Why? Well, that was because Chad Kelly forced to leave with about 2 minutes to go in that first half after the hit from Darnell Sankey, who did stay in the game, which I know the three of you didn't really agree with.
Yeah, it was a tough hit. It was a hard hit, and yes, we talked about how just last week it's a dirty hit. It was a dirty hit. He's not a dirty player. That's exactly what I'm saying. And having been a linebacker, and I'm not trying to defend the bad hits, because you know it's bad, but This is not what he's known for. But I do know as a linebacker, what you're thinking now, what he's going when the quarterback is running down, I'm like, hey, look, I'm going to hit him. I'm going to hit him. He's got to slide. He's got to slide. And there's a point. And we've watched the replay multiple times, and it is in slow motion that always makes it look a little bit worse. Like I said, I'm not trying to defend a bad hit. But as a linebacker, you're thinking, I'm going to get to him. When is he going to see? Slid in plenty of time, you know. Slid in plenty of time. He's a big body. He's a big body. When he commits, it's hard for him to get out of the way. Did he commit after Chad Slid? Did he slow it down? Because these guys are professionals going full speed and everything, but you can't make that blow to the head. You would hope he would have a better understanding. The officiating crew could have upgraded that to a second degree roughing the passer. I would not have complained if that were to be the case. Yeah. Like I said, he's not a dirty player, but that's definitely a dirty play right there, in my opinion. Especially in the league where we lead our quarterback, and especially this season, how great they've been playing specifically Chad Kelly as well.
And speaking of quarterbacks, yes, James Bryce getting the start here in his first career start in the CFL in place of the injured Nathan Rourke, and it's gone better for him than it did the last game because he didn't give up a win.
Yes, the BC Lions are winning right now. They're down. Bryce hasn't been playing terrible. He's been playing pretty contained, played pretty composed in the pocket. We saw him step up a few times and survey the field. He's done a really decent job in the first half right now, finding his receivers and being able to even evade the blitzes.
So let's see. Arbuckle 4 for 4 for 40 yards. Chad Kelly 15 for 18 for 192 and 2 touchdowns. Bryce is 8 for 14, 89 yards. I told you guys, Bryce is not a starting quarterback, and if I was BC, I would be really worried right now. This is what happens when you spend a lot of money on your quarterback and your defense and your 2 wide receivers, and you don't have a backup. I mean, there's so many people out there. See if I can find it on here. Free agents. Caleb Evans. Cameron Dukes. Shea Patterson. Like, I'm sure all 3 of them are better than Bryce. I don't get it. I honestly do not get it. Toronto has 237 yards passing on 22 passing plays for 10.8 yards. 4 carries for 22 yards, an average of 5.5. 2 team losses for 14 for Toronto. Net offense is 245 yards on 28 plays. 13. That's backwards because it should be 13 passing plays, 1 rush, and 1 penalty for a first down. They haven't had 13 rushes. 1 sack for 3 yards. BC Lions has 89 passing yards on 14 plays for 6.4 yards. Got to pick that up. BC Lions have 48 yards on 13 carries for 3.9. Got to do better than that if you're James Butler. Team losses, they have 1 for 3 yards. 134 yards on 28 plays for 4.8. That offense has to finally come together. You have 6 rushes and 2 passes for first downs, 2 sacks for 14 yards. Toronto is 5 for 9 for 55.6% on second downs. BC Lions is 6 for 13, 46.2. Toronto has 3 penalties for 25 yards. BC Lions have 4 for 45 yards. Toronto's 1 for 2 in the red zone for 50%, whereas BC's 0 for 1 in the red zone. Field goals, Toronto's 1 for 1 for 37 yards. BC's 2 for 2 for 30 yards. Or that's the longest, sorry. 3 punts for 152 yards for Toronto, average of 50.7. 5 punts for BC, 285 yards, average of 57. 4 punt returns for 87 yards, 21.8 on punt returns. And then also 3 punt returns for BC for 25 yards, average of 8.3. And then time of possession for Toronto is 12 minutes and 47 seconds and 17 minutes and 13 seconds for BC. Now, Scott, are you talking about the Unger play at the very last seconds? Because a lot of people are saying that that's bad time management by Toronto. Let's see if we can find an update. Oh, there's a spot mistake at the end of that. From the fast pace and refocus following all the injuries.
So week 8 will wrap up tomorrow night with a couple of East rivals going at it. Montreal and
Fair,
Hamilton.
good first half, but man giving up a clock with a chance for easy points.
Sensational, becoming just the second Canadian quarterback to throw for over 200 yards.
Throw into the end zone without outside with a little time left in the half.
Do you think that group will provide more of a challenge to Mr. Trayford?
It'll be more of a challenge. I mean, their defense is better. It's not like they have a great defense so far this year. They've been middle of the pack, but they'll provide more of a challenge. But Trey Ford, he controls his own destiny. I call it controlled chaos, and that's exactly what he was. He knew exactly when to have those unscripted plays. And if I'm Scott Lavanovich, I don't know how you can control that. I think you continue allowing him to just go out there and do his thing and see what happens. Because he was a magician last week. He was pulling some rabbit out of his hat. And so if he continues that, he's not pulling these skunks out of his hat. So good for him for giving that great win. And so what happens tomorrow?
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing, talking to Scott Milanovic this week. He talked about, I'm just learning about what this guy likes, how he is in his progression. Remember last week, barely in the game, didn't even have any days of practice to prep for that first start. So going forward, Scott said, some guys throw this ball better, some guys throw this read. I'm going to make sure that I'm getting a better feel for what he does best, and then add the creativity to the game. Should make it really fun to watch.
Argos will talk backstage about how tough of a challenge it is for Milanovich, and he's coached some great quarterbacks in the past. We talked about the Ricky Rays, and including Little Levi Mitchell, but to do this right now and to have Trey to be successful the rest of the season is probably his tallest task. And this is a team that
Nothing on social media yet.
This is going to be an interesting one to watch for sure.
Trey Ford looking for his first career win against Montreal, where the Alouettes looking to win their 4th game in a row. Interviewed by Farhan in the first half of this game in BC, which brings us back to Ron being the best. Ron, so good. BC plays.
It's something that I'm actually good at, but it's also something that I continue to get better at. Football has motivated me because it challenges me mentally, emotionally, physically. I'm part of something bigger than myself. I really love this game. I'm not just doing it for the money. I continue to chase my dream regardless of how hard it got. I have so much fun playing this game. There's nothing else like it.
All you gotta do is look to your left and your right, when you're in a game that
My dad passed when I was 10. And I didn't know how to really deal with the issue. So football kind of was like the only way I could express myself and yell and scream and not get in trouble for doing something crazy. Hits. Like when I put the helmet on, it's just like I was in my own space. Nobody could say anything else to me. Everything else didn't matter no more. I was just me in the field, and I could potentially change my whole family life. You gotta be sincere. You gotta be real. You gotta be yourself. I was put on this earth to play this game. I've been since I was to this day. I owe a big credit to my dad. I owe a big credit to my mom. Sacrificed so many things.
So Benji Franklin and Goss will not return. Kelly is questionable.
I've been going at this since I've been 5 years old.
we want to be with you.
I want to be a ball player and a damn good one. I'm very passionate changed drastically from losing my dad, going from the third string to first string to, what people are saying, being the franchise quarterback. Brothers during this. That's why we on the jail sometimes. We all got something. It brought us here.
Remembering my younger self, having school visits and seeing those star players, come to your school. Now I get to be in those shoes. Hopefully able to inspire more generations of players and continue to grow this game and capture what makes this game so big. It's such an amazing league. It's given me so many amazing opportunities, built so many amazing friendships and relationships from this game. It's the best game in the world, and you should be playing it with joy.
Okay. Correct. He needs to get out of bounds or go down. Rather have a shot at a kick than nothing. Agree with Scott. Yeah. A lot of people are saying that was the worst time management. So the question is, okay, so Rich, here's a question for you now. I'm going to flip the script. When Kelly was out last year for the season, who was Arbuckle's number one receiver? Trick question. Is it still Coxie or is it someone else? To start the third quarter, it's 17-6 for Toronto, and Toronto will start with the ball because BC took the ball at the beginning of the game. Merrick kicks off for 60 yards to the Toronto 20. Grant returns for 35 yards to the Toronto 55. Mayer with the tackle again. That's twice now that Mayer's tackled him. Arbuckle passes to Coxie for 10 yards to the BC 45. Thomas Oliver III with the tackle. There's no way that's 10 yards CFL. It's maybe like 9. Like, he was not at that line of scrimmage. Isaiah Smith rushes for 0 yards. So how is it 0? Oh my God, whoever does this, please change this. Arbuckle throws an incomplete pass to Kevin Mattal, so it's 2nd and 10 from the BC 45.
presence, provide a little bit of stability to that secondary group,
which certainly matters since Gary Peters, their long-standing veteran in that secondary, has been injured and out.
Number 45.
Arbuckle rushes for 11 yards to BC 34. Kent Jr. with the tackle.
Gets it down to the 35 and got himself a first down for the Argos.
Not exactly a noted runner, but Nick Arbuckle's a guy who's always been a solid athlete. There you see. Full Heisman there to evade the defensive lineman.
Nick Arbuckle.
Arbuckle passes to Unger the third for 7 yards to the BC 27. Coxie Mattel. Rich said it should be Coxie, but he thinks that he likes Pokey. Might have even been Herschlow. And Scott says Kelly he was having a good first half. But what I think they'll do is they will have they'll keep Chad Kelly out for this game because then they have a bye next week so they can rest him and then be ready for the home game. Arbuckle passes to David Unger the third for 10 yards to BC 17. Rich goes, now he runs out of bounds. Throws incomplete. Unger the third again. Arbuckle throws incomplete to Isaiah Smith. So it's going to be 3rd and 10 from the BC 17. So Lipster will come on and kick the field goal. Most likely he'll get it because it will be a chip shot. So it'll be 20-6 once he makes this field goal. Kicks a 24-yard field goal, and it's good.
Wanted to turn upfield, didn't he?
Yeah, I was going to say more than anything, guilty of wanting to run before he had full control of that football.
Brady Lidster, first CFL game, he's 1 for 1. He was down by James Burnham, but through by Lidster in his debut. 2 for 2. There's 3 more on the board, and a 2-touchdown lead for the Argos. the second half. His number's 48 of 14 for 89 yards so far.
Yeah, definitely some flashes, but a slow start.
So because Toronto kicked the field goal, BC starts off at their 40.
Seemed like maybe once they got James Butler in that ground game activated a little bit. Always found some momentum, but look for the young quarterback here to find a little bit more consistency.
Throwing now on first half, completing it to Kieran Boyzon.
Nothing is a sure shot.
James sees her, and the tackle.
What do you think of my bet now? I mean, depends. Lots can happen. Game's not over yet. I can tell you that much. Bryce passes to Passant for 8 yards to the BC 48. Butler rushes for a 1-yard loss. Butler's definitely garbage. So glad we got rid of him when we did. He's not the same. Oops. Meyer punts 53 yards to the Toronto 10. Grant returns for 6 yards to the Toronto 16. McKenna with the tackle, and then there's holding on McKenzie. So 5 yards. They go from the Toronto 10 to the Toronto 5.
That's Darius McKenzie, the rookie Argo, and on special teams got flagged for holding, so that will push Toronto back to start at their 5-yard line. He takes a look. Mickey Donovan, the special teams coach, the quarterback. Nick Arbuckle is 7 for 10 since taking over from the injured Chad Kelly. And yeah, we got some early movement from Matthew Betts.
Planned offside, so they go back 2 yards, half the distance of the goal from the 5 to the 3. 1st and 12. Nick Arbuckle passes to Mittal for 8 yards to the 11. Williams with the tackle. Still going to be 3rd down. Or, sorry, it's going to be second down. What am I saying? Yeah, Goss is gone. Franklin's gone for the game. Kelly is questionable to come back last time I looked. And Nick Arbuckle throws incomplete, so it's going to be 3rd and 4 from the Toronto 11. See if there is...
Second down and 4, so the second 2 and out for the Argos as they will be forced to punt it away deep in their zone. Lions should get it back in pretty good shape.
Yeah, you're going to see the blitzing linebacker here, 42 Parker McKenna, right on the left side of your screen. Gets his hands up, impacts the throwing lane for Nick Arbuckle on that one.
James Burnham, the punter for the Argos, Jake Williams, and just inside the BC 50 after a 52-yard punt and good coverage there. Derek Sluka and Darius Pickett.
Dang. People are already...
This is finally a trip home to BC Place for the first time this season, but where they left off at 25. Pretty impressive if you go back almost a calendar year, Dwayne. 6 straight wins, including the playoff game against the Stampeders last November the 1st.
Yes, we won't talk about why this stat is slightly skewed.
Yes, yeah. When you put it on your year card,
a pretty good run, though, certainly down the stretch last season, as you mentioned.
They had a slow start last season that really came on, though. Nathan Rourke, a big part of that.
Still not thinking about Chad Kelly. Bryce sacked for 10 yards to the BC 40. Sean Lemon with the sack.
Sean Lemon, number 42, doing what he does best. Just keeps the motor running after he gets around the edge and no doubt. This was pretty good for Sean Lemon.
I believe that's career 104 for Sean Lemon.
Bryce to Butler for 17 yards to Toronto 53. 3rd and 3. Bryce throws to McInnes, incomplete, turnover on downs.
behind Bubba Bolden, but it's too far. And BC turns it over on downs. Toronto will take over close to midfield. The first turnover of the night. A turnover on downs.
I guess that is looking better and better. As long as Bryce stays in, BC has no shot.
Given the field position, the score, maybe feel like they wanted to try and get some momentum here. Just unable to connect.
Luckily, Rourke's not out for the rest of the season with that shoulder injury.
Injured in the first half is officially done for the day. A flag coming out here before the Argos could run a play. Darnell Sankey, who took the penalty on the hit on Kelly back late in the first half.
Kelly is not going to be returning. So this is all up to Nick Arbuckle. 10 yards from delay of game, Darnell Sankey.
Delay of game, BC, number 53. It's 10-yard penalty, first down.
So a delay of game against Darnell Sankey there, and that moves the Argos up to the 47 of the Lions. Mentioning those, Sankey and Lemon were key additions in 23 for the Alouettes. Here's what happened.
Yeah, watch for Darnell Sankey. The middle linebacker realizes they're a player short on defense. So he goes intentionally, touches the ball, goes offside in effect.
Arbuckle pass to Polk for 12 yards to BC 35.
Connecting two to Mackay Polk, who's had a very good night with a couple of touchdowns in the first half, and there's his fourth catch. 12-yard pickup.
Well, this is the thing with the Toronto Argonauts. The fact is, they come in with a losing record.
Toronto gets a procedure penalty for 5 yards, and they go from BC 35 to BC 40, and it's 1st and 15. I'll just rebuild phase. I will just say that's inappropriate for to say, and no, I'm not on medication, and I'm not intoxicated. Arbuckle pass incomplete to Isaiah Smith, broken up by Darnell Sankey. So the interesting thing is with Toronto's bye next week, and then they have Calgary after that. If Chad Kelly is not back for the August 1st home opener, I know what Arbuckle did last year and the year before, but you're playing Vernon Adams. That's going to be scary. I'll put it that way. Ooh, what a hit. Mackay Polk's now injured. Big hit on Mackay Polk. Looks like he can. They're going to attempt a 47-yard field goal. Do keep in mind, no matter if he makes this or not, BC would start at their 40 anyways. Lidster makes a 47-yard field goal. So that makes it a 23-6 game. Which I'm not surprised that Toronto's winning 23-6, to be honest. Do 3:30 left in the second or third quarter. 9 for 15 for 87 yards for Nick Arbuckle. Still no touchdowns for Nick Arbuckle.
Sean Lemon with his 104th career sack and his first back with the Argos. Back to Farhan.
Yeah, Sean considers this like riding a bike. He's done this before. He comes in, compares the situation in 2023 when he was with Montreal, came in after a few games.
No, I'm actually quite curious.
Eventually, they got to a Grey Cup.
After tonight,
Around for Lemon, was he's making this comeback without his father, Edward, at 69 years old. He passed away exactly.
so they have a bye week. Calgary,
From a stroke. He was a 35-year-old.
Edmonton,
He was Lemon's biggest
Hamilton. Okay.
Sean all the time. He was there for all 3 Grey Cup wins, but he wasn't there for the Grey Cup games that he lost. The last time he spoke to him was the day before he passed away. Sean told him he was thinking about moving on.
Bryce throws incomplete to Hatcher, so it's going to be 2nd and 10 at the BC 40.
Yeah, for a nice family photo there taken at that Grey Cup victory by the Argos in 2017 in Ottawa. He was a part of that team and back with the Golden. Here's Chase Bryce rolling out, being pursued, and that one heads into the Argo bench. Incomplete on that first down. That's Burisham. We saw him earlier making a play. The rookie Dalton Lemon, 40-13 with Calgary.
Rich says, too bad we didn't have this kicker last week. We might have won the game. Listen, passes in the past, and you move forward, my friend. Bryce passes to Butler for 14 yards to the BC 54. Bolden with the tackle to first down, Lions. Bryce to McKinnis for 3 yards. Darkangelo at the tackle, and then it's objectionable conduct. Toronto, 10 yards from Toronto 53 to Toronto 43. And it's a first down, Lions. Oh, Greg Quick got in the way. Bryce throws to Hatcher for 21 yards to the Toronto 22. Bolden with the tackle. Yeah, that bye week will be key for Toronto next week. Not only that, but they can start moving stuff from Guelph to Toronto now. Bryce throws to Hatcher for 11 yards to the Toronto 11. Bubba Bolden with the tackle, so it's going to be a first down, Lions. TJ Lee also injured for BC and is not going to be returning to this game. That I want to say that's like 6 people injured today. Red zone today, trips 0 for 1 for BC Lions. And Bryce is sacked for 9 yards. So 2nd and 19. Bryce passes to Hatcher. It's incomplete. Yates is injured on the play. So this is injury number 7. So BC's having the same offensive line luck as Hamilton had last week. So this would be their 2nd offensive lineman. So Cherry on defense will now have to throw on an offensive lineman jersey. Scott, that's funny because when Donovan went down with that injury in the first quarter, that's the first thing I thought is I bet they're regretting cutting Dejon Allen right now. But I mean, at the same time, they've also given up 3 sacks without him. Like, they're the worst offensive line in the season. Two teams are desperately in need of win. One just needs it more than the other. And it doesn't look like BC is going to be getting any luck. Because I can tell you right now, I don't think BC is going to be making the playoffs. With how close and how tight that West is, they have no shot of making the playoffs. Actually, you know what? Let's take a look at it. Now, this is basically going into this week. I think it was on here that I seen it. Quarterback sacks taken. So Vernon Adams and Chad Kelly have the most sacks against going into tonight. Let's see. Bo Levi Mitchell has 11. I didn't think that he was sacked that many times in 6 games. Then it's Jake Mayer. Alexander. Oh, no, sorry. Nathan Rourke's been sacked for 11 times. Bo Levi Mitchell's only been sacked 3 times. So Hamilton's offensive line is the best when it comes to the sacks because we don't have the least amount of sacks against in this game or this season. What is Trey Ford has taken 3 sacks, so that's 6, 9. We're getting up there. Isaiah Smith rushes for 6 yards to the Toronto 46. Second and 4. This, Scott, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the whole Saskatchewan Jake Dolegala experience, where Hamilton only had field goals. Nick Arbuckle rushed for 17 yards to the BC 47. Williams with the tackle. Isaiah Smith rushes for 4 yards to the BC 43. Second and 6.
Going in this Toronto Argonauts season, or perhaps the time spent in Guelph for practices for the Argos. The early portion of this 2026 season has helped the rookie to feel a little more comfortable.
Right at home. I mean, he went to university there, and that's when the Argos being on the road, that's been their home, really. University of Guelph.
Timeout, Toronto.
For the Argos, some players have commuted from home, but a lot of them, Dwayne, have stayed at Guelph with this extended road trip to start the season.
Yeah, whether it's been sort of hotel or dorm living, some guys have chosen to rent places in Guelph short term for the early part of the season. But you know, kind of a unique thing. You try to make a positive out of it and added time together, team bonding. Your team becomes your family that much more. I think in a situation like this.
Nick Arbuckle passes to David Unger III for 9 yards to the BC 34. Finley with the tackle out of bounds. It's going to be a first down, Argos.
terrific touch put on this football by Arbuckle, just laying it out.
Who does BC play next week?
Dave Unger run underneath.
BC plays Winnipeg.
Out of bounds beyond the stick. Unger, 9 targets, 7
On a short week too. That sucks. So hopefully, for BC's sake, Rourke's back here. Otherwise, Arbuckle sacked for 7 yards to the BC 71. McKenna with the sack. Three sacks for Toronto, 3 sacks for BC. Nick Arbuckle throws incomplete to Demoxy Coxey. So it's going to be 3rd and 17 from the BC 41. So if you add in the field goal, it will make it a 48-yarder. Ledster hits a 48-yarder. So you can honestly say Larham Hararlahu is done as an Argo. Do. Bum, bum, bum. Bryce doesn't even have a touchdown. Like, that's just sad. Man. Let's go look at this for a second. Rushing. James Butler. So if we look this up, that's not what I'm looking for. So, in 5 games, well, this will be game 6. This guy's only had over 60 yards twice. He is doing not so good. Bryce passing complete to Keon Hatcher. So it's 2nd and 10. And then Bryce throws to McInnes incomplete. So it's 3rd and 10 for BC Lions. So Lidster has Lidster has almost won Toronto this game. Because Chad Kelly's gotten them. Actually, no. He has single-handedly won them this game because he's gotten 2 extra points and 4 field goals. So Lidster has officially won you guys this game. 9:46 left in this game. Mayer punts for 44 yards to the Toronto 26. Grant returns it for 12 yards to the Toronto 38. Finley with the tackle. Oh, they're taking Bryce out. Soldiers coming in. Bryce is out. Arbuckle passes to Hicks for 17 yards to the Toronto 55. Haggerty with the tackle. Hicks rushes for 1 yard to the BC 54. So it's 2nd and 9. Arbuckle passes to Common for 11 yards to the BC 43. Haggerty with the tackle.
Tyler Common joined the Toronto Argonauts practice roster last September after being released from an NFL tryout with the Indianapolis Colts, a late cut of the Colts, making it through camp in the preseason. Out of Division II at Emporia State University, with virtually every receiving record at that school. Learned the CFL game last year, excelling here.
Isaiah Smith rushes for 2 yard loss to the BC 45. So that would be a 52-yarder. Yeah, so Scott, the thing is, it all depends. Arbuckle passes to Kassar for 10 yards to the BC 35. So it all depends on how long Rourke is out. Because people are saying that he was passing at practice. But if he, so they play Winnipeg next week and then Hamilton on August 8th. If he's not back for this game, BC's done for the year. Lidster misses a 43-yard field goal. Ooh. So BC starts at their 35. Because you get where they missed the field goal. It hits the upright, so it's not didn't miss by much. Do. The only thing, if anything, that BC may be able to do, now, depending on how well Calgary does over the next couple weeks, because you got to remember, BC still has an extra game, is can BC catch the fourth place team for that crossover is the question. Because now with Toronto winning tonight, they're tied with the fourth place, so there would be no crossover. As long as Toronto's tied with the fourth place West team, there is no crossover. The only way that there's a crossover is if the fourth place West team has more points than the third place East team. Salter passes to McInnes for 16 yards to the Toronto 54. Bolden with the tackle, so it's going to be a first down. And then he throws incomplete to Jackson, so 2nd and 10 at the Toronto 54. Salter passes to McInnes for 14 yards for a first down at the Toronto 40. Tavis McFadden with the tackle. Oh, so they say it's a 16, so they're to the Toronto 38. See, this is what happens when you wait too long to put in another quarterback. This guy should have be brought in at halftime. You would have had a better chance. I mean, he hasn't thrown a touchdown yet, but still. Salter rushes for 10 yards to the Toronto 28 for a first down.
feeling a little bit of a lift from Kate Salter entering this ball game. Couple of quick completions. Now run for first down. Good start for the quarterback here.
And Chase Bryce, 14 of 25, 163. They had some drives getting closer, but stalled out, had to settle for field goals in a game where you can't afford to be trading that way. Bryce got the start. He played most of the game last week in Edmonton, minus the first 2 plays. He was on the second play on offense for BC when Nathan Rourke got hurt. But knew all week he would be the starter coming into this game.
Now with the ball in Kate Salter's hands, he finds himself
Second and inches at the Toronto 28.
into a position to score. Let's now see if with Salter in the helm, if they're able to fit.
Timer, please reset the clock to 4 minutes, 15 seconds. 4:15.
They had initially moved the sticks as if it's a first down, but it turns out it is short on the Salter run by just a few inches. But you're right, they're in touchdown territory now. They're down 17 points. And he did not get there. That was a second down in inches, but Salter got a run in it.
Salter rushes for a 1-yard loss to the Toronto 29. Kongbo with the tackle.
Argo deal over that one. Situation for BC really didn't want to make any substitutions. Offensively, just wanted to try and get the sticks moved as quickly as possible, but here beef it up a little bit to go after it.
Third and inches, and this time Salter jumps. He didn't need much. Looks like he would have enough with that lunge to pick up the BC first down.
Salter rushes for 2 yards to the Toronto 27. Dwayne Hendricks with the tackle, so it's going to be a first down Lions. 3:21 and counting left in the game.
So we should mention in the BC Lions quarterback picture, they also signed CFL veteran Tyree Adams. Spent the first few years of his CFL career with the Ottawa Redblacks. Brought Tyree Adams in this week. Deciding I quite like. I've always sort of believed in the potential of Tyree Adams in this league, but just his opportunity largely limited by injuries to this point.
There he is. Remember talking to Lapo about him, Paul Lapalisse, and I believe scouted him or was following him in Western Carolina. That's going back into, they got the days when Lapo was with Winnipeg. And he ends up in Ottawa. And in a twist of fate, he got a start. And when so many quarterbacks went down in 2023, and he won it against Edmonton, but he suffered an ACL injury and his season was over. Right after a CFL win, this is his 7th play of the drive with Kate quarterback. Under pressure, gets rid of it. It's getting intercepted. Coming in to Sean Amos on Kieran Poisson, and Amos nearly had the pick to snuff out the drive.
Yeah, Salter standing in as long as he could. He knows he's got unblocked pressure coming from the backside. Watch Derek Sluka in full sprint mode here. Bearing down on the quarterback. Gets the ball out in time, but really not the throw he wanted. Made under duress.
The 3-minute warning is given.
3-minute warning is finally out.
2 touchdowns.
And it's 2nd and 10 from the Toronto 27.
A lot of work to do in 3 minutes' time. We'll be back.
So if Salter gets a touchdown here, it'll be 26-13. Well, rebuilt face, looks like you won your bet. Congrats.
The CFL's leading passer. Only one loss as a starter. That one coming in Edmonton earlier in the season, but for Chase Rice, his first CFL start. Over now, late in this game, Caden Salter is at quarterback. 3 minutes to go. They're inside the 30 for the Argos. They got to find the end zone. And a high throw off the fingertips. And falls into the secondary again. Fortunate for the Lions that it wasn't intercepted.
So, interesting note. If the kicker didn't make the field goals or their extra points, and White kicks this field goal, this game would be tied right now. That's how lucky Toronto is tonight.
Begs the question, are we an onside kick country now? There's Dennis McKnight, the new special teams coordinator.
Yeah, I'm actually kicking deep in this situation and try and get a quick 2-0, get the ball back in decent field position. At this point,
Dennis McKnight used to play for the San Diego Chargers back in the days of Dan Fouts in the early 80s. He's coached in the CFL, a few spots, most recently with the Hamilton Tiger Cats last year. His counterpart is Mickey Donovan, special teams coordinator for the Argos.
yes, we're told that when Coach McKnight joined the Lions a couple weeks ago, the volume level at practice.
We had a chance to talk to him in pregame interviews last year when he was at Hamilton. He's quite a character. Great conversation, great stories. Travels in football, player and coach.
Question is if they're going to kick it onside or kick it deep.
The kicker. Let's see what they do. They're kicking it deep. 2:50 on the clock. Argos have the ball. And that's Damone Coxie. I've been back there with Janeri and Brad, and Coxie gets it up across the 30. So now it's up to the BC defense needing to force Toronto, I would think, to very quick possession. Mike Benavides, the leader of that defense, 2 and out. It'd be nice if they can get the ball back. But as said, they still have to do something on offense. They haven't done.
Mayer kicks off for 71 yards to Toronto 9. Coxie returns it for 22 yards to Toronto 31. Haggerty with the tackle.
For much of this second half, their run game a little bit more.
Hicks rushes for 5 yards to the Toronto 36.
Shortening the playbook because it's Nick Arbuckle at quarterback.
Sam Hicks, the running back, and picks up about 5 yards.
Yeah. Sam Hicks and Isaiah Smith having shared the load in that backfield. Fullback Jack Cassar getting a little more action here as they go into 2-back load.
And that's Tucker Horn, number 5, beside head coach Mike Miller, the third-string quarterback. Back to the ground, flags come out. Not much doing there. So depending on the flag, could this be the 2 and out that the Lions desperately need?
Hicks rushes for a 1-yard loss. McKenna with the tackle, and Toronto's offside.
Offside, Toronto, number 86. Penalty is declined, 3rd down.
The Lions will get the ball back. 2:13 on the clock. The stand they needed. But Caden Salter just had his first reps as a CFL quarterback. Will be coming back on with a very big task for that Lions offense. Jaden Williams, the lone returner back. And James Burnham, his second game with the Argos. Standing at his 20 to get this one away. The Argos head into a bye next week, and then they Sebastian Parcellides of Wilfred Laurier, that special teams tackle. One of the Argo rookies there on Williams.
Parcellides, late round pick out of Wilfred Laurier. Fullback making his presence felt here on special teams. Officials try to sort things out down below. Another look at Parcellides.
When a rookie on special teams gets a chance, you want to make the most of it, right?
Absolutely. You know, not a big dude. That's really the main reason he slipped in the draft is because of his height, not necessarily a big body at fullback, but as a person who played the position, I can tell you I greatly enjoyed watching the film.
Illegal block. BC number 40. It's 10-yard penalty. First down.
Anyway, enjoyed watching Parcellides knock people out his college highlight film.
Burnett punts for 58 yards to the BC 17. Williams returns it for 7 yards. But it's an illegal block, so they go from the 20 to the 10. And then Salter sacks for a 1 yard loss to BC 9. Sean Lemon with his second sack of the game.
Lemon coming from the top of your screen, recognizes what's happening as the quarterback tries to step up, redirects. Been there, done that.
Well, this Lions offensive line has been under siege today, losing the right tackle, Josh Donovan. Brandon Yates got hurt, but came back into the game. Number 59, the left guard, and a lot of pressure on the quarterbacks. BC, a four-man rush. Salter quickly gets rid of it, and it's Nick Senecal.
Salter throws incomplete to Senecal. So it's going to be 3rd and 11 from the BC 9. JP, thank you for the donation, my friend. Very much appreciated. Tomorrow's going to be a game is going to be interesting. Hamilton Ticats against the Montreal Alouettes.
The Argo bench, basically just as the returner caught the football. No one was really in that territory in coverage yet. I suspect it'll go against the Toronto Argonauts.
Mayer punts 50 yards to the Toronto 51. Grant returns it to the BC 49. However, there's an illegal sub, too many men. David Unger the third, so they go back. So the Lions just have to repunt. Salt. Oh, because of that punt, it became 3rd and short. So Salter gets the 1 yard rush. So BC's offense, because of that too many men penalty, is still on the field. Salter passes to Hatcher for 9 yards to the BC 29. Dark Angelo with the tackle. Salter is wide. 3 for 8. Ugh. Salter throws a pass incomplete to Butler. So it's going to be 3rd and 1.
Recognizing the situation from a defensive perspective, the Argos just going 4-man rush, trying to blanket receivers and coverage, making sure that they don't give up any big chunks of yardage here. The distance that BC has to go and how little time they have to do it. The Argos are content to allow them to make some plays underneath, but just won't give up the big one.
Didn't even give up that underneath yardage, too, as we're down to another 3rd and 1.
Salter passes to McInnes for 5 yards to the BC 34. Sluwika with the tackle.
Throwing on this 3rd and 1. It's caught. It's a first down to McInnes.
And then Salter passes to Senecal is incomplete. So it's 2nd and 10.
Before they look out to Bemo. And that one's a bit too far for Nick Senecal again. 44 seconds. Miracles can happen, but this sure looks like an Argonaut victory now for Mike Miller to improve to 3 and 4. And big for them, too, because Hamilton is playing tomorrow night in Montreal. And the Alouettes on top of the division at 5 and 1. And for the Lions, it's tough, especially with Calgary winning in Winnipeg last night. BC 0-3 start, split a pair with Edmonton, and looking at a 1-5.
Salter passes to Passant for 8 yards to the BC 42. Salter passes to Hatcher for 13 yards to the BC 55. McFadden with the tackle. First down, Lions. Jonathan Combo is injured. So I think that's 5 injuries just for Toronto tonight.
Not a bad debut for that young man, Brady Lister, his CFL debut, standing in for Liram Hiralau. And there's James Burnham, who just arrived last week after an injury to John Haggerty. So new punter and holder and a new kicker. And they did pretty well tonight.
Salter passes to McInnes for 23 yards to the Toronto 32. Bolden with the tackle, so it's going to be a first down, Lions. Salter passes to Horvath for 5 yards to the Toronto 27. Pickett with the tackle. 10 seconds left. Two seconds left.
And the BC Lions are about to fall to 1-5. And they're in Winnipeg next Thursday night. A short week for the Lions. And especially now.
Oh, that sucks. Salter passes to McInnes for 26 yards to the 1 yard line, and the game's over. That sucks.
Stays that way. Ball game over. Caden Salter got a taste of CFL play, and Nick Arbuckle, that backup quarterback, has had plenty of.
So that's the end of the game. It's 26-12 victory for Toronto in what was a very ugly win. But we'll have to see what happens at the Toronto home opener on August 1st, which I will be attending as a Ticat fan. But I do appreciate everyone for stopping by. I'm going to go head over to the analyst desk for the post-game show over there. But I do appreciate see here. Was that McInnes catch at the goal line? It kind of looked like it was. Rebuilt phase, congrats on your win, my friends. Thanks to Rebuilt Phase for the sub, Scott White and JB Powers and Rich for joining us tonight. We'll be back tomorrow night at 7 p.m. for the Ticats away game against Montreal. But I do appreciate everyone for stopping by, and have yourself a great rest of your evening.